Hey guys, what's up? It's good to see you again. It's been a while. Guys, today we are talking about the one and only Fahrenheit 182.
By the one and only Mark Hoppus of Blink-182.
Mark is him, and this book was absolutely incredible. Dan Ozzie and him killed it. Who saw him on the tour?
Raise your hand.
We did.
We did.
In Los Angeles on 420. Here are the cities that they actually went to.
They went to Brooklyn on April 9th. On April 10th, they went to Somerville. What's MA?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Washington, D.C., Philly, Chicago, El Cajon, Los Angeles, and a UK leg the following month.
The book was awesome. Dan Ozzie was super cool. We got to see him live.
Yes, so Dan Ozzie, the reason we were so stoked about this book being with Dan Ozzie is because we also talked about this in a previous episode. Dan Ozzie's book Sell Out, which talks about a bunch of bands' major label debuts, Blink being one of them when they released Dude Ranch on MCA. Talks also about Green Day, Jawbreaker, Jimmy Eat World, At the Drive-In, The Donnas, Thursday, The Distillers, My Chemical Romance, Rise Against, and Against.
Oh, damn. I was like, how did you remember all that? And then I saw you reading it. Wow, that was impressive, though.
Thank
was
you.
Very impressive.
What's cool, though, is it talks about all of the Riding in the Van with Boys bands, besides
Cut You Up.
But Green Day, Jimmy Eat World, and Blink. Great book. I know it sounds like it's shitting on the bands, but it's really just talks about their experience in the scene, being seen as a sellout because they sign with a major. Definitely worth a read. Very interesting and teaches you more about the band. But I really liked the way he wrote, so I was very excited to see that he contributed to this as well. He was also with Mark during the book tour. It was really great to hear them talk about it.
And we got to see him live.
We got to see him live.
We got to see Dan Ozzie in person.
Yeah.
We got to see Mark in person.
Talking about non-band thing. I mean, it was band stuff, but it was like seeing him not to play a show. I don't know. It was cool just to hear him talk.
It was so cool just hearing him talk. I loved it.
Yeah.
And
Kind
we
of
got
like
to see him.
That Fuse show he used to do. Hoppus on Music.
It was super cool.
Yeah.
I missed the Hoppus show. Hey, Mark. Bring it back.
Bring it back.
Hey, Mark.
We are going to talk about the book today. Not give you too many spoilers, but just some general bullet points, things we found interesting and things we didn't know. Feel free to share those things for yourself as well in the comments. I recommend reading the book, the physical book, and also the audiobook, listening to the audiobook because
you read it.
The physical book's cool because it has a lot of really awesome pictures. The audiobook's cool because it's his actual voice and him talking about it. And for anyone that did listen, you can kind of tell at first he's a little nervous, but give him a chance and he ends up getting a little more comfortable as the audiobook goes on. This is my sweet baby girl, Elliot.
She came out at the same time. That's so crazy. Aww.
She gives kisses and she also bites a lot. And she was named after Elliot Smith.
Oh.
Meow, 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 meow. That's why she bites me.
We are in Echo Park for the first time and possibly the last time.
Yeah, you'll notice. This is a new background. I got professional lighting that you can't see. It's off camera. Yeah, I'm moving. So I made this beautiful, amazing podcast room and probably will be the first and last time that we use it. But enjoy this episode. I hopefully will have an even cooler setup at my new place, so we'll see. Stay tuned. Apologies that it's taken so long to get an episode out. We're both very busy, but I think going forward it'll be a little bit easier because we got an intern named Sydney who is helping us with our notes, and she's going to help us edit the episodes and just
shout out Sid.
Thank you so much. We're so stoked to work with you, and we can't wait to see how you edit this episode.
Thank you so much, Sid, for helping us. We really appreciate you, and we are super excited to get into the book. Yeah. Fahrenheit 182.
Yeah.
So it starts off with Mark's childhood in the desert. What town?
Ridgecrest, California.
Ridgecrest, California.
Yeah.
It starts out how he moved around a lot because his dad was a scientist for the military. He was a rocket scientist. Super sick. His parents split, and it impacted him in many different ways. But he ended up choosing to live with his dad, and his sister Anne ended up living with his mom in San Diego.
Things obviously changed when his parents split. His mom really struggled to make ends meet, and it talks about like her crazy beater car that like you could see the floor, like the road beneath him, like Flintstone style. and that they would like fall out of the moving car. Times were crazy. I remember growing up, my dad would never even tell me to put my seatbelt on. Shout out, Dad, you're a good dad, but what the fuck?
Jerry, you're him.
Seatbelts are important.
I love you, Jerry.
So he lived in Ridgecrest for a while until I think his dad moved to Virginia or somewhere on the East Coast when he was a teenager, and that's when he was exposed to like a lot of different cultures and different music styles, and I think that's when he had first heard The Cure, which we know is a huge influence for Blink. But what I didn't know reading the book is how much the bass player influenced him. I knew he loved Robert Smith, but I didn't realize that it was the bass player that inspired him to play bass.
Remember the part where he was dating the goth girl and then he ended up being stuck in the closet when the mom came home?
I think that's when he moved back to Ridgecrest after leaving Virginia or DC or wherever he was. I forget. But yeah.
Yeah, and then he was dating her, and then the mom came home, and he was like hiding in the closet naked. I thought that was hilarious.
It's like such a teenage experience. It's so funny.
And that's like the kind of stuff in the book that, you know, we found out, you know, and I thought that was really cool how personal he got it with all this cool stuff of his childhood.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if it was that girl. I think it was a different girlfriend that showed him The Descendants, and he took that tape into the record store and was like, what else do you have that's like this? Because that's like how you had to discover music, was record stores back in the day. He literally was just like, give me more things that sound like this. And the guy's like, yeah, here's this. And I just think that's a really cool, awesome
Dude, and remember going into like FYE back in the day?
No.
We had them in Florida. I'm pretty sure they were out here too. But they'd have every record you could possibly think of, every musical documentary you could think of. Yeah, it's like Amoeba, but like, unfortunately, we didn't have Amoeba in Florida. So, yeah.
These are both my books. I bought this before I knew that you got a free one with the live book tour.
So this was the one she bought.
This is the one I bought. You know, just a regular old book. Awesome. But the one that you got when you went to go see the book tour was a cute little bookmark with him on it. And then whatever location you went to. So it says this book belongs to, I need to write my name in it, Los Angeles, California.
No, we can't write anything because then it's not worth as much.
But I don't want to sell it. I want it.
It's a collectible. It's a collectible.
This book belongs to blah, 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 Los Angeles, California, 2025 at the Wiltern. So if you went, you got one that said your city on it. And I think if you got a signed one, it was also like an even more unique edition.
Also, shout out to everybody from the show that we got to meet.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't normally get to meet a lot of you guys. We don't realize how many people are actually listening to the podcast and following on to the content.
Or people that we follow too. Like,
and we follow all you guys as well.
Blink-182 locations. Follow him. Shout out Blink-182 locations. He goes to different like music video locations and very like obscure places that no one would even think to go to. He finds them and visits them and posts them on Instagram. Follow him. He's awesome. Very sweet guy.
He was super cool.
And then we also met this guy, Daniel, who is doing a Blink-182 musical. So it's not exactly like a Blink musical. It's a musical that is going to be about his life, but using the music of Blink, which I think is really cool. I could make a musical about my life. What would be the song that you would use for the musical of your life?
A Blink song?
Yeah.
That's a really hard question. The first thing that came to mind is Adam's song. Because of how in-depth that Mark went into Adam's song, I feel like I attached to the song even more.
I don't know that this would be mine, but something I realized the other day is that my number one favorite Blink song has changed, and it's Going Away to College.
Damn, that's a good one.
That's my number one favorite. It was Asthenia for as long as I can remember.
Asthenia is one of my favorites of all time.
It's just beautiful and amazing, but Going Away to College, especially the live version, I don't know, man. That shit just hits different. I love that song so much. So maybe I'd make that my song, even though I don't know that it's relevant to my life. Anyway, that guy was awesome. We met him, and then just like a few other people came up and were like, we like your podcast. And that's always sweet. Continue to do that because it makes us feel like the few listens that we get are worth it.
Yeah, it's really gnarly, man. We appreciate all you guys. Seriously, it's insane how much, love we get from this, and we love all you guys, so we really appreciate it.
We really do. Flashback a little bit. His dad gives him an ultimatum when he's 20. Actually, no, doesn't give him an ultimatum. He says, leave. Like, you need to move out. He
was working at an ice cream stand where I think he mentioned he was doing, like, nitrous out of the cans or something, right?
Yeah.
And he ended up getting dosed with acid, which I thought was really... Or LSD.
A lot of random anecdotal stories, which
And
are
he was
great.
in
You
like
should
cool
check it out.
bands.
Yeah, definitely read it to see all the, and look at the physical book because you can see a lot of like young pictures of him playing in bands way before Blink, and I don't know, it's really sweet. Yeah, his dad basically, I think he like got a new girlfriend, was like, how Mark phrased it is his dad said get the fuck out, but he actually just like asked him kindly to leave, and that he needed to just like spread his wings and fly, as maybe you should tell your 20-year-old son that doesn't have much ambition. So maybe it was the biggest blessing of his life. Really, he did what was comfortable and went and lived with his mom instead, and Anne, in San Diego. But he also somehow, even though his grades weren't great, he applied to, I think it was San Marcos, somewhere in San Diego area. So his thing was he was going to go to college and live with his mom.
Ding, 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 ding. Damn. So the first day he gets to San Diego,
What
who
happens?
does he meet?
Well, Anne goes, hey, I know someone that you might like, because her boyfriend Carrie was friends with this guy that she felt could be a good friend of Mark's. And boy, was she right, okay? Because he shows up at this lanky kid's house.
Lanky boy.
Zits. Skinny, tall guy. And was like, what up? And he was like, hi, I'm Tom. They started jamming.
And
so
they
Mark
had...
was playing this riff that he knew on bass, and Tom was playing. He's like, wait, that kind of works with this riff that I know on guitar.
It ended up creating Carousel basically the first time they hung out, which is really cool.
Yeah, and then Mark, of course, at the end of the night, we've talked about this probably a million times, he gets a little excited, and he decides to show off to his new friend, and climbs up this light pole it's basically in front of the neighbor's house, if you've ever been to the famous light pole. And decides to he can't really slide back down, so he jumps off. And we said that he broke his heels, but Mark actually confirmed that he just bruised them. But if you've ever bruised your heels, that shit sucks.
Feels like breaking them. But you can see it right here. If we could edit it. I don't know. We'll see. Shout out Sid. Okay. So they ended up starting to write Buddha together, basically. Fly Swatter, so to speak. This was like but a lot of that stuff, some of it went to Buddha. We've went through all this stuff. If you look at our older podcasts, you can see a lot of this stuff that we already went through. We don't want to recapitulate the entire existence of Blink, but we're going to try to stick to the book and kind of give you a rundown on everything that we saw at the live show, which was really cool.
Something profound for me at the live show and most memorable thing, I think, and for a lot of people that went to, was just like how much he talked about Scott and meeting Scott, and just kind of like his introduction to the band and how that kind of evolved. And there's a lot of sweet pictures he put up on the
big screen.
On the big screen of him and Scott. Because Scott actually lived with him for a little bit when his family had moved to Reno, and they were touring, so they needed him near, so he moved in with Mark and his family, and he was kind of like a younger brother to Mark. I mean, there's a pretty big age gap too between them. I want to say like 6 years or something, because Tom was in the middle, and I think Scott was like a couple years younger than him, and then Mark was a few years older than Tom, so there's like...
Yeah, like they were all in high school while Mark was already, out of high school, so...
Yeah. I mean, he talks about how Scott was kind of like a tough nut to crack. I mean, he just didn't really stand for much and was kind of quiet, and...
He liked to drink.
It seemed as such, but he was also so young, and we've talked about this, him trying to like navigate fame and all that when he's just so young is hard. It just seemed like Scott was just kind of a soft-spoken guy that Mark and Tom are such big personalities, and he doesn't talk ill of Scott. It's more just like, it just didn't seem like a compatible match in a lot of ways for the band, and then the drinking started happening, and I just don't think anybody really knew what to do, including Mark.
As a guy who's been in bands for years, drummers are very hard to crack.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, I feel like there's a reason that someone chooses to be a drummer, and same is true of Travis, who's pretty, the behind the scenes guy, whereas Mark and Tom are the center of attention, and they'll be the first to admit that. Nothing wrong with that. But something interesting I did learn from the book as well is that Travis actually is not as soft-spoken as one might think. He was actually the one that would kind of advocate for the band a lot and be a little more confrontational when people weren't doing right by them. And I don't know, I thought that was cool, because if you've ever met Travis, like many of you have, according to your messages to us, Travis is known for being really nice and more approachable, and I think Mark kind of has he talks about in the book, kind of like a germophobia. So I don't think he really likes to meet fans. And Travis is definitely a lot more approachable. And you've met Travis, and he's really sweet.
He was at my Whiskey A Go-Go show the day we headlined it. Shout out Wavy Trees.
Shout out Wavy Trees.
Let's get back into the book here.
Let's get back. Let's backtrack. So before Travis even, there was Scott.
So before Travis, there was Scott. Long story short, they're playing a bunch of gigs. Their first gig, nobody was there, as we all know. One bartender was like, I see something here. So it gave him a little bit of hope. And then they end up playing Soma on the small stage, and they started the basement. And then they started playing all these gigs, and they end up starting to develop a fan base because they start winning people over because they're funny. You know what I mean? And like everybody, didn't your mom go to one of the shows?
Yeah, she went to a very early Blink show, but they were actually opening for.
And she left during the set.
Yeah. What was she opening for? No. They actually were headlining at the time, but she went to see the opener, who used to be bigger than them. What the fuck?
Rin Law.
Yeah. Though Soma was a big moment for them, and like.
And we went to Soma, by the way.
We did, yeah.
The one that's there now
yeah,
which I don't think it's the same one, but
it's had a few different locations. But the biggest thing that they were trying to accomplish at that time was graduating from the basement to the main stage at Soma, which in order to do that, you had to have 100 people at the door say your name. So, they played a few basement shows, and then eventually I think they got like almost 200 people to say their name, and that's what allowed them to graduate. And Mark talks about how he's like, we could have stopped right there and I would have been happy. I would have been the successful little local band from San Diego and just, rode that wave forever. But Tom had bigger ambitions, and Tom seemed to always have bigger ambitions, which is something that Mark talks very fondly of. It didn't obviously always work out because Tom is so I need to do this. No one can stop me, which is awesome for Tom, but that's not always awesome for the people around you. But I think in a lot of ways it really helped push them and get them to where they are today.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it pushed them over the edge, and you need that person in the band. You need someone to be like, hey, fuck you, I can do whatever I want, and I think that Tom, Mark needed Tom needed Mark.
Yeah.
It's just, It is the way it is.
And Mark was the one that would ground the band, whereas Tom would be the one that dreamt bigger for them and always pushed, and in the very beginning would be the one to book shows for them. And
exactly, yeah.
So they needed each other. They were the yin to the yang.
Exactly. And man, in any business you're doing, I'm sure all you guys out there have jobs, and you do whatever you do.
If you're listening to this podcast, you probably don't have a job.
But in anything you do, I think that you always have to have certain people that take you to the next level. But
totally.
Anyways, they end up playing a bunch of shows, and then they get thrown on the Warped Tour. They ended up being with Kevin Lineman, who started the Warped Tour, and as a trade-off to them and we're jumping a lot of steps here because we've went through a lot of this stuff already. As a trade-off, because they would stay on the bus, they would do all the interviews for the Warped Tour. And
so that was the first one that they did, and they weren't on the main stage by any means.
No, they were side staging, and it was the big summer camp vibe, and they started the barbecues that Mark was talking about at the show, and they still did that to the day that the Warped Tour ended, which now it's kind of back. They're doing certain dates, but it's definitely not back the way it used to be. But growing up, I went to a Warped Tour every year since 2005.
And guys, let's talk about how much time and effort I spent believing that they were going to play Warped Tour, even though Mark confirmed twice on his Twitch that they weren't. I did these daily posts.
She did daily posts, and she didn't give up, which shout out to you because...
I was trying to manifest that Blink would play Warped Tour.
She was positive they were going to play it, and she kept posting every week. And
every day!
And you guys kept commenting and liking, and, thank you so much, because it didn't go the way she thought it was going to go. But... she thought it was going to be this grand reveal of Blink-182 on the last day.
I made this epic fucking video. I bought...
You should post it anyways, just...
I know, just to trick everyone.
Yeah.
I bought $300 fucking video editing software and made the most epic video, being and here's the big news. They're going to play Warped Tour. I made the video. It's done. And they're not fucking playing. So that was cool. So Warped Tour was obviously a huge stepping stone for them. And... it talks a lot about when they did get big the second year, because that's when Dream Ranch came out.
Uh-huh.
They didn't obviously achieve Enema success, but it was a big deal. But Mark also talks a lot about navigating fame, and this didn't happen around this time, but like they start to get stalkers and things like that. And at first, like fame is exciting when you're like in your early 20s and it's fun, but then it can get really scary. And I think that's something that we like. I struggle with sometimes with this silly little podcast is because I don't ever want to seem like the type of person that just like treats celebrities as like these like attainable things you meet and they're not people and real, you know, with real lives and stuff. Like obviously we wanted everything we do, we want it to be like organic and nice and not like I don't know, they're people. Mark's a person.
Mm-hmm.
Tom and Travis are people.
You forget that.
Yeah, they're not gods and you shouldn't stalk them or scare them or treat them as like, I don't know, they're just people. And they're cool people, but they're just people.
They are just people. And as a celebrity myself, you know, no, I'm just kidding.
As like I have like 1,200 followers on my Instagram. I think if we look right now, this post I just did, I probably have about 46 likes.
Yeah, she did a crazy post today. I'm the photographer. But then, you know, he gets into like when they started getting fame and like they did American Pie. He said the Go Trig Boy thing.
Oh wait, what's that?
The line, pretty much the only line that they kind of had in American Pie with the little monkey and stuff. Then he ended up like that was like a big thing, you know, and like it ended up being bigger than just them being there.
Oh yeah, people would say that to Mark.
Yeah, so he vocalized something in this big first Hollywood experience that Blink had, and and it worked, you know. And
yes, so obviously that's around Enema era when they did start to see extreme fame, and you know, there's a fucking huge album, and we won't, you know, we're not going to talk album by album because
we're just gonna breeze through because it's we've talked about all this stuff, but
here's some highlights.
MTV used to be the coolest thing in the world.
Still is. Just kidding. No, it's not.
It doesn't exist, right?
I don't know.
I think there's just reality. I think they went out of business or something, but I'm telling you right now, MTV was awesome. TRL was awesome. And
those were the fucking days, man.
Those were the fucking days. They were the MTV sweethearts.
And could they work a camera. I mean,
they were great. And you know, it just gets forgotten, man. Like Carson Daly and all that stuff, that was a huge part of my childhood.
For sure.
And it was really cool to relive all that because Mark talks about all this stuff and how he met his wife. Sky. He
met her, I believe, for the first time on the set of All the Small Things.
Yeah.
If not, that might have been the second time. But he had seen her around a few times. She was like in the industry side of things. It's really sweet to read about how they met, and I don't know. You should definitely read more about that because they had just such a sweet bond from the start.
And then
talks about the birth of Jack.
Yeah, dude.
His one and only son, one and only child.
And it talks about kind of how like her pregnancy went and just like all this stuff, and just like when Jack was born, and they just let him leave with him, you know, and he was like, "Oh, all right, we're leaving.
I'm a dad now.
All right, we're gonna leave.
I just have this living thing with me.
We're heading out of here.
Yeah,
with the kid." And they're just like, "All right, later," you know. And I feel like I'd feel the same way.
Oh,
you know?
being a parent, it's got to be crazy.
Yeah.
Especially for the first time.
Shout out to Jason and Sam.
They're having
a baby.
Soon. Yeah. Jason is his guitarist. And then we get into the Plus 44 era. Plus 44.
Oh yeah, she got the shirt on today.
Conflicts in the band start to form, as we know in this era. And then just shit starts to get fucking real. So obviously they break up early 2000s, 2005, I think. Shit gets real. A lot of hardships happen. Some are very public news. Some I didn't know about. So obviously the death of Jerry Finn, Travis Barker's plane crash, and then the woman that drowned with his scuba diving partner that drowned.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I had no idea. Yeah,
that was gnarly.
That. I don't know that he's ever talked about that. And that's got to be something that, like, even though it's not his fault in any way whatsoever, like, maybe a little bit of survivor's guilt and just, like, different things. Like, could I have done something? Like, I just can't imagine how dramatic that could be. And it was meant to be, you know, scuba diving was meant to just be this, like, peaceful thing for him to do, like, as a normal person. And it just can't imagine. It's a common theme in the book that, like, death seems to kind of follow him, and that, like, 1 in a million things seem to happen to him a lot. For better or for worse.
1 in a million happens to me all the time. I loved that.
Yeah, he says that all the time. I
Yeah,
mean,
now
it's
I say it all the
crazy.
time, yeah.
It is true. He seems to be a very lucky and unlucky person in that way. Unlucky in the sense that he got extremely rare cancer, and then lucky in the sense that he recovered. Like, it's just amazing. I mean, so many different things like that in the book. It's just lived such a fascinating life. And then the hardships continue. So obviously, Tom leaves twice, which really affects his self-worth. And as you know, as a person in a band, that like when you've been in so many bands over the years that like when there's troubles within the band and maybe someone leaves or whatever, it can really affect your self-esteem. And
it's literally like you're breaking up with your girlfriend.
It's just not personal as you might think.
Exactly. It's not as personal as you think. And
with Tom, I don't know. I don't think it was personal either. I think Tom was also just kind of like going through his own shit, and they grew up, you know, they became famous at a pretty young age, and they were both navigating like their first kids and marriage.
Yeah, it's gnarly. And Tom was a construction worker
when he was young. Yes. Tom had like, Mark says how Tom had more jobs than anyone he's ever known. Tom was very hardworking. You can
hustler,
say whatever
man.
you want about Tom.
I love Tom.
Not that anybody would say anything bad, but just maybe people have opinions about him leaving the band. But say what you will, that man is a hustler.
He is, man.
He stays working.
And then Skiba joins in, and I love the part where they were talking about going with Skiba to the airport, and how he would have like a freaking million things on him, and he'd show up like 10 minutes before the flight would take off, and he had like a dagger on him and like all this stuff. Yeah, you don't remember that?
Remember that.
Dude, he like Skiba's like apparently the worst to travel to the airport with.
Oh, really?
And then Travis always said, "Oh yeah, when Tom comes back. Oh yeah, when Tom comes back," because he always knew that Tom would come back.
Apparently, it was Matt that said he knew before Mark did that Blink was always going to be Mark, Tom, and Travis.
Of course, yeah, but Travis would always like say it. Apparently, like I
Which
think
is
I read that in the
interesting
book.
because there was a few different occasions over the years, and even like public interviews where Travis was, you know, being the one that's outspoken and like not confrontational in a bad way, but just sticks up for his friends and was like, "Fuck Tom." Like,
and it's confirmed. It's confirmed now that like no, it isn't totally about everything we thought it was about.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally.
And plus 44 just in general. I wish they would make another record. That'd be so cool.
That would be sick. But Mark has said a few times that he'd be open to it, I think, but like he hasn't spoken to Shane or Craig in a while, and it'd be kind of hard to get them all together.
He just need him and Travis, in my opinion, but whatever.
Hi, little baby.
Yo, baby.
She's the most beautiful, softest
She's
girl.
just your baby. She's so soft.
She could bite you at any moment, but
no, she won't.
give kisses, belly.
It'd be so funny if she bit you in the face right now.
She does bite me in the face.
Then I mean, you know, we can honestly get into cancer at this point, you know, like, and that was honestly like I feel like everyone was wondering like how Mark felt in that era, you know, like they were like, hey man, like, and I feel like at the book tour that was the one thing that I was like, all right, look, I know pretty much everything about the history of Blink. There were a few things that, you know, we got into that I was like, all right, like I didn't know that. That's super cool. Very few things, but he gave us, you know, things we had never heard before. Mm-hmm. But the cancer thing was like, all right, now I'm like, what happened? How did you feel?
Yeah.
You know?
As we know, or maybe you don't know, we found out about Mark's cancer by accident. He wasn't going to publicly post about it, but what happened was he like shared it on what he thought was his close friends, but accidentally publicly shared that he had cancer. And it just took the world by storm. I remember being devastated. Everybody was sad. I mean, it's just like surreal, and it just reminds you that celebrities are humans and they go through shit like any of us. But yeah, I mean, we up until now didn't know exactly how it made him feel. And I mean, it's as you can imagine, it's really isolating. If you have any sort of like hypochondria or germophobia, imagine that just skyrocketing.
Yeah, and he talked about how, you know, how he found out, how he was like feeling. He's like, hey, does that feel weird? They contacted the family doctor. He went, and it was all like super fast. Like it all happened extremely fast. And, you know, and then he went on a walk with his like neighbor who they go on a walk all the time. And then that was when he finally broke down. Cause he would like he called a few people and was like, yeah, you know, I have cancer. Yeah, you know, I have cancer. And then you know, it's like something like, hey, you know, you have to say it, like, you know, you let it out, but you don't really feel it. And then when he was with his buddy, I guess when they were hiking, because I guess his buddy that he hiked with a lot or walked with a lot was like a doctor and dealt with this stuff a lot. And he's like, you're gonna be fine, don't worry about it, you know. And then he broke down though at that point, and then he started chemotherapy. And the way that we all found out was he was in the middle of chemo on I think it was like third or fourth visit or something, and he accidentally posted it instead of his close friends. He posted it to everyone, and he kind of nodded out because of the medicine and stuff like that. And then he realized, oh my god, like I just posted it to everybody. He has like a million fucking DMs. And then the radio on his way home contacted him. I think it was K Rock, one of the DJs or something, right? Or was it 98.7? And they were basically asking for a statement. He pulled over to the side of the road. He basically wrote what he could because he was so out of it from the chemo. And, you know, he was with Sky, I guess, and whatever. And, yeah, it was pretty crazy. But, yeah, it was cool to get into his head on how he felt. You know what I mean? And he's said in multiple interviews already now. And he's been on press tours, so you'll hear all this stuff in his own words. But at the show, it was really interesting to hear everything and just out of his mouth and, like, understand, like, how he felt. I thought it was really cool.
We're so lucky to still have him. Anybody that's ever gone through cancer. I mean, I just can't imagine. I don't know if I've told you this, but I actually have a friend who, I won't say names or anything, but he's actually close family friends with Mark, and his cousin actually passed from the same type of cancer that Mark has. Mm-hmm. And when Mark found out he had cancer, his dad, my friend's dad, was one of the first people he called.
No way.
Yeah, to be like, I don't know, like ask questions and just kind of like figure it out.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah. I thought that was amazing and just really sad because he knew that, like, my friend's cousin had passed from it. So, you know, I think for him it was a very surreal, like, am I going to die sort of question situation.
He helped capture Saddam Hussein. That was gnarly, and it was, like, a real deal thing. Like,
I told Angel that. She did not believe me.
No, it was a real deal thing. Like,
yeah.
he had, like, this knowledge from his dad, like, growing up, and
told,
just, like threw it out there and ended up helping them catch him, which was so crazy. Because of his podcast, because of Hussein's podcast. Like, what? That was so gnarly.
So funny.
I thought that was super cool. That was one of the things in the book as well that I know all of you appreciated, and, like, kind of, it's been all over the internet too. Like, just...
There's a lot of very fun anecdotes like that make it worth reading, even if you think you know it all like us. Like, there's a lot of shit that...
Oh, yeah, there's so much stuff. Yeah, I mean, you have to read it all. And oh, wait, Araya, you got to show him what you got.
So, yeah, it's been so long that I have to show you what I got a long time ago, but you haven't seen yet still. I got a Mark Hoppus signature bass.
She's learning how to play the bass, everybody.
It's got the "Hi, my name is Mark" insignia.
Do you have anything you can break down for us right now?
Yeah.
Or no?
I don't...
Very good.
It's an art piece for me. I
should have
tried to play it. Oh, shit. I do intend to learn at some point. I do have to get it, like, you know, combobulated. What's the...
She's got to get it set up.
But yeah, it's not set up yet, which I will do at some point.
It actually feels pretty good. It actually feels pretty good.
Play something.
No. This isn't about me. Okay, so Araya got a bass. She's going to learn how to play it eventually.
I wish I got the pink one, but whatever.
No, that's my favorite color.
It is a gorgeous color, but everything's kind of pink in this room.
Seafoam green is my favorite color for everybody that wanted to know. So
we're like influencers.
If you want to send us anything in seafoam green, I would love to have it.
Back to the book.
Back to the book.
So we're gonna end the overview of the book with maybe just, you know, the final. I'll read the last chapter, the whole thing. It's 3 pages.
Go for it. Come on, Araya, give it to us in a Mark Hoppus way.
The story ends where it began, the California desert. It's as hot and windy as I remember as a kid. Wind turbines spin in the distance as we head through Indio traffic toward the Coachella Festival grounds. Coachella is a cool kids festival that Blink was never invited to play. For years, the hottest artists from every genre got asked to perform, but not us. For whatever reason, we never got the call. Then one day, the phone rang. Coachella was scrambling. The main act for the festival's second weekend, Frank Ocean, dropped out at the last minute. They needed a replacement headliner for Sunday night. It was Thursday. So here we are, on less than 3 days' notice on our way to headline the biggest festival in the country. In a way, the stakes couldn't be higher. The last performance of the weekend reserved for the largest acts. But in another way, it feels like there's no pressure at all. The last performance of the weekend, surely everyone will leave early to beat the traffic, or you can stick around and beat your meat. Back home to tend to their sunburns and UTIs. All we have to do is go up there and play our hearts out for anyone who sticks around. We pull up to the festival grounds. I look out the van's window and a group of college-age women walk alongside us. They pull off the path, hike up their skirts, and piss along the sidewalk. Dude, shotgun beers. The sun hasn't even gone down and someone is already puking. Everyone is young and beautiful, younger than I was when I first started this band. Have they even heard of Blink-182? We head through security. Blink has a compound backstage all to ourselves. It's packed with friends and managers and agents and lawyers and relatives. Everyone I've ever met says hello. Faces from another lifetime. Tom sits with his new wife, Marie. She's kind and encouraging. His mood is positive, happy and excited. Travis is late. He finally arrives with his new wife, Courtney, surrounded by a flurry of activity. So many phones and cameras pointed at them. She's trying to calm him down. Our tour manager gives us the warning. I think that's Gus Brandt. Shout out Gus Brandt. 1 hour. I start my routine. Stretches, vocal warm-ups. I spent the past year relearning how to sing after chemo damaged my vocal cords. Gnarly. I stopped drinking altogether. Lost 40 pounds. I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror. My hair, which has grown back a little grayer. The scar on my arm where my port was. I have an idea for a joke. Yeah, I love Indio. I love coming Indio mouth. Hey, should I say that on stage? My manager, April, shakes her head. No cum tonight, Mark. Okay, roger that. No cum. Half an hour. Already? Okay. Pour myself some tea, brush my teeth. 15 minutes. Sky and I walk toward the stage. My heart is racing. I take my bass and I give the crew knuckles. I see my other manager, Gus. Okay, here's Gus. Who looks concerned. I knew it. No one stuck around. We're about to play to an empty field, aren't we? What's wrong, I asked. Did everyone leave? No, Gus says. No one left. The whole festival is here. I peek out from behind the wall and look out onto a mass of humanity stretching as far as the eye can see. All 150,000 people are there in front of our stage, expectant, waiting, chanting. It's the largest crowd I've ever seen, larger than Reading, larger than Wembley, larger than any Warped Tour show. Someone grabs my ass and I turn around. Tom, you're not nervous, are you? We joke and hug, anything to ignore the magnitude of what's about to happen. Travis joins in, jumping in place and shaking his drumsticks. The three of us pose for a quick photo. The camera flashes and time stops. I take it all in. I look at my bandmates and consider everything we've been through to get here. Fights and pain and disease and death and tears. The joys and successes, heartbreak and loss. I see the faces of Sky and Jack and the many friends who were there for me through it all, who sat with me during chemo sessions and emotional breakdowns. These people fought for me to be here. They spent long nights worrying about me, and now they're all here, smiling. I am at peace. I'm on God's time now. Every day on earth from here on is a bonus, a gift. Thank you, universe. I'll do my best to earn it. Time kicks in, I'm thrown into reality. Back in the desert where it all began. What are the odds? 1 in a million? That's fine.
1 in a million happens to me all the time.
My best friends follow me on stage. A thought crosses my mind. Maybe I died in that cancer center and this is heaven. I step out into the light and noise.
That is like freaking incredible, dude. I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
Gorgeous.
Mark, we love you so much. Thank you so much for writing this awesome freaking book. Thank you, Dan Ozzie, for overlooking everything. And thank you for doing a tour of it because we enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah,
I can't put it all into words. You just have to read the whole damn thing.
Read it, listen to the audiobook, do both. They're both important. Check it out. Thank you so much for listening. Just a couple quick things. Obviously, this was a New York Times bestseller, so we want to make note of that.
Shout out New York Times.
And yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of where we'll leave it because it was just so, it just spoke for itself. And we will be doing another episode soon on the actual content of our podcast. Angels and Airwaves, Love, Part 1.
Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that soon, maybe in this room or maybe in my new room.
We'll have a new one in your new place.
Yes. We'll do.
Or back at my place because it was so sick.
Now that we have Sydney on our team, we plan to utilize her and thank her and have a more productive output because it's hard. We're busy. We both work full time. We both, do other shit in our lives, and it's hard. We're just busy people, and there's no excuses. But yeah, we love the podcast. It's so fun to do. So we're just so happy to have someone on our team to help us make it more often and, I don't know, better for you guys.
And shout out to Sid, and shout out to everybody for listening. We love you guys so much.
We love you so much. Make sure to follow our TikTok because Sydney's going to be running that and is going to be posting a lot more. And yeah, thanks for watching and listening, guys. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
Take a sip. We got to do the old school. Ready? Cheers.